This conference will now be recorded.
Are we going to go live now or?
I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened just there, but I'm glad I'm back. So, welcome everyone to today's Lunch and Learn with Norstat. I am very happy to introduce Paul and Reto from Norstat. So, I think, Paul, we'll hand over to you first of all, and you can introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Paul. I'm a regional director in Norstat. Been working for them for almost a little bit over a year, but I have 12 years from early days also in the Norstat. So as experienced market researcher in data collection, started actually as an interviewer back in 1993 when I'm studying, and I've always been into data collections since that time. Uh, Working at Ipsos, working at a company in my own company, which we just sold to Norstat, and that is why I'm back. So that's me. Reto, can you give 1 minute
Sure.
of your time?
Sure. Hello, everyone. My name is Reto, based in Zurich, Switzerland. I co-founded Testing Time about 7 years ago out of Zurich, and that's actually we started in the world of UX research and then moved more and more also into the market research world. What Testing Time is, you will see in this talk, but we joined the Norstat family about 1.5 years ago. We were acquired, and now together with Norstat, we expand Testing Time across Europe. And just today, we launched actually in Sweden, so really happy about that. And yeah, that's me. Thank you.
Then I will do a short briefing of what is Norstat. We started out in 1993 in Norway. Then we established ourselves in the Nordics within the next 10 years. And then after 2007, we did the expansion into the Baltics and Poland. Then from 2013, we made our little bit more European expansion. And we're now based in UK, Ireland, Germany, Italy, France, Germany, Austria, plus Nordics and the Baltics. We are a purely data collection, meaning that we do data collection in all methods: telephone, online, face-to-face, product focus groups, IDIs, Mr. Shopping, whatever. We are around 275 full-time employees all around. We do have almost 3 million panel members as well, which we use for different projects. And we also have some countries. We do have a small panel in Spain, for instance. That is why we say 19 countries, but we do have offices in 15. And we want to be the European leading data collection company. Last year, around 80 million euros in group revenue. So small beginning from the first interview was taken in 4th of January 1997 with only Katie, and now with 22 offices in 15 countries. So that was kind of the small things, not a small, but small introduction to the Norstat group. We do, as I mentioned, online data, personal interviews, cell phone interviews, but I would really like to talk to you today about recruitment. We do around 3,000 to 3,500 call projects per year. So we recruit a lot of people. We are mainly into B2C. in the countries where we do have Katie, we also are good at B2B. But in UK, for instance, we are better served as a B2C in recruitment than B2B, since we don't offer Katie there. We also offer translations in France if you need it. We have local moderators if you need that as well. In other countries, we also, in some countries, has focus rooms available as well. So, I want to talk to you a little bit about Norstat Express. Norstat Express is a do-it-yourself tool where you can ask 1 to 5 questions to the entire population in UK, or only males or only females, or I will show you to that a little bit later. But it is really useful tool when you are conducting a focus group or when you have a qual project. So I kind of created a small case for you. This is a fake case, but let's say that we have a client and the client's name is Rosebuddy. It's a late evening. You just ended your 2 focus groups and you have a small sit down with your client doing a small recap of your 2 groups that you just conducted. You have showed some scenarios to the respondent, and you have some new logos, a little bit about design, and also talked about new services of Rosebuddy. Still, you were a little bit uncertain if will this scenario or will it work? Will it fly also towards the other people, for instance, in UK? I see that I said high end, but it is the regular users of consumers of flowers. And so let's just check then with Norstat Express if the insights you gathered was valid also in the UK. So then we put up a small Norstat Express, meaning that you log in, you enter your page, create a new survey. Now I have cheated a bit. So you write in the survey details, you can define your target groups, male, female, only male, which regions, etc. I just now created age 18 to 90 in the UK. And I just said how many responses do you need, and I just put in 100. Then you do the calculate price, and for you, you will get your first survey for free. But anyway, 100 respondents will cost you £152. And you can play around with it with the numbers to see the price going up and down. Then you go into the questions, and it's really easy. I will just, so you add single, multi, rating, and open, and you type blah, blah, blah. I will not do it. You can even have pictures and videos, and you add alternatives, and there you go, and you select don't know, none of the above, don't want to answer. I just want to throw that question away. Then we have the questionnaire. So I had the questionnaire, how often do you buy flowers? We talk about the Rosebuddy services of offering a home door delivery. That is what the thing was we talked about in the focus groups. What kind of dates would you like to have it? And also in the morning or the afternoon. So that was kind of the 4 questions that you were a little bit uncertain of after that 2 focus groups. Then you can test the link. This is how it will look like. Or we just then press launch. Now the survey is launched. Hopefully we will get 100 respondents in the next 15 minutes. So now you have a dashboard, and then whenever a respondent has answered, you will see data coming in. And I will show a little bit of the dashboard later on today. No, not later on, in 15 minutes with hopefully 100 answers. So that it was really short about Norstat Express. It can be used for everything from up to 500 respondents and 1 to 5 questions. And as I would say, kind of cheap. Reto. Rita?
Thank you, Paul. Just had to unmute.
Yeah, sorry.
So
I,
now we
do I
saw one
need
of
to
the,
make you presenter, Reto?
yes,
No,
Yeah.
I will
okay.
all move the slides and then I need the presentation. I will tell you to do the demo.
Okay.
So Norstat Express is one of several digital products Norstat offers, and as I mentioned before, we joined the Norstat family as 1.5 years ago. This is just a picture of our team. We are around 25-ish people in Zurich, Germany, and UK. We are sort of a hybrid team building and offering testing time. So next slide, please. Testing time, when I had the idea, dates back to 2013, but sort of my idea was to build, as I said, I came out of the user experience field where the most used method is usability testing. I realized there will be high demand and there is no easy to use platform, just like Uber or Airbnb, to get test users into your study. And that's how we built and said, let's build a very easy and digital to use platform which the customer can drive themselves without having to email back and forth with a project manager and so on. And next slide, please. So the typical thing is you select the number of people and research or study methods and the formats like remotes, in-house, for example, in your lab or office, or you can go home to the customers. The first selection here is just our set of methods which we support for recruitment. So the most typical one is a moderated user test where a customer talks in a video call with a test user. There's unmoderated where test users kind of record and send in videos. But I will demo like a workshop focus group interviews. We even then went into the quant world. We also offer our service for surveys and diary studies. But I would say 80% of our work is around interviews and user tests in the remote fashion. Next slide, please. Mentioned before, our role model was always Uber. If you want a ride from A to B, you basically open the app and click a few things and you get your ride and that's it. And that's sort of what recruitment should be. It shouldn't be 1,000 emails. It should be really a few clicks and place your order and then you get your people into your study. Next slide, please. Our pool, in our world, we call it pool. In Norstat's world, it's panel. We have started in Switzerland, expanded to Germany, Austria, UK, and France. And that have been our core market. Then we joined the Norstat family. And if you go to the next slide, then one of the first things, one more, you see we expanded to Netherlands and now click one more and then we see we just launched today Sweden, but there's a lot more green without a country code. So that's one of the reasons why we said, hey, Norstat is a great partner and owner to actually bring our service into all these countries. They have panel which can be brought into our system and vice versa, of course, but they have like local teams because testing time, I mean, I made it sound like it's very digital, do it yourself, but behind the scenes is of course always an operations team or project manager helping to sometimes troubleshoot or to help customers through the whole experience. At the end, it's still we recruit human beings, and with human beings, things can go wrong. So now Having in all these green countries a Norstat team is a great way for us to bring it into those countries. Now, next slide, please. That's now the demo, and I would like to have the control. That's
yeah,
possible.
just doing it.
Very good. And now I'm start sharing, and you should see now my browser. This is our start page, testingtime.com. That's what I showed you before in the screenshot. When you jump in, let's say we go for, let's pick up on the rose body case study from Paul before. He's now collecting 100 samples as a sort of a quant study to kind of back up the findings in the focus group. But so at some point you had to organize a focus group. Let's say, I want to walk you through how you would do this now with us. Focus group is a qual project, and this is how you would kickstart the process. You don't need a login at this point. You don't need to have anything. You basically can just jump in and enter your criteria, and you will see an immediate price. So you don't need to write, hey, what does it cost, etc. We'll just do it. I pre-filled this, so you don't have to watch me to do everything. So select the focus groups. For example, here, if you would go up, you see it would immediately change the price. So let's say this is a 846 focus group. Then you go into the next steps. You have some standard criteria. I made up these things for the demo. Let's say we want to have an equal spread across 25 to 75, but you can go into much more details like multiple age ranges. Same thing for gender. You want to have a balanced thing. So those are the language, country of residence, etc. These are the standard characteristics, still very basic. And then you can go into a deep screening. So either you say, no, that's enough, age, gender, it's very basic, or you can provide us, and this is where the team behind the scene will write screening questions for you. You just say like, these people have to purchase once per month flowers online, let's say spend minimum £50 per order online, and have never used, for example, rosebody.com, just made it up. Or often customer, they want to have control, they can use our question library, or they say, no, I don't want you, I have already my screening questions, and then you start to type how often. You really literally type your own screening questions here. They're online, and you say this is a single select, weekly, just make this up, monthly, yearly, and you say never, and then you say okay, and we want weekly, monthly, and yearly, and never. They disqualify. And so you can add more and more questions, and then our team will check whether these questions make sense. Sometimes, yeah, not everyone has the same experience, and we have a lot of experience doing good screening questions. Let's just go back to the standard path. Then, of course, when you do, for example, an online focus group, you use a tool. We have those are the most used tools. Teams, you would need to share a link, because I don't have one. I just said TBD. You can have specific requirements for how they should participate. Let's say desktop, and Teams works on all the operating systems. You can add some additional information for test users. You can give testing time, some additional information. You have a duration, you have a time slot. So a focus group has only one time slot. If you would do an interview series, you would have several time slots, obviously. And the longer, the more expensive. Then you can even order backup. That doesn't make sense for a focus group because backups probably make more sense for an interview. Then you have an incentive. You can override this as long as it's above our minimum. You can say, no, I want to pay for this 1 hour remote 50. We'll calculate again. You can even sign an NDA. You just upload your NDA and we will collect signatures before the study. And then it summarizes everything. You can save this even without an account. You get a link in your email. You can share this link with your team. They can look at it and approve it, and then you would proceed with your order. Order comes in, and I'm fast forwarding. We will check the order. We will kick off the process. Our system will start to do the work. Candidates are humanly and algorithmically checked. We even have an AI component which kind of looks at all the data we know about the users to say, well, we believe this is a good match or this is not. And so we have a really low no-show rate and a low misfit rate over all the studies we conduct. And we measure this really on a weekly basis. But this is what you get once you order. And this is just an example, has nothing to do with the previous row study, but you would see these candidates come in, they're scheduled, and once they're completed, they would jump in here. You can look at the profiles, and you have an assigned person you can always contact, but we really try to automate and things. So, but there's always a person behind, and here is a very simple example. You see the funnel, and the more criteria you have selected, the more you will see how does now my group distribute across all these criteria. Yeah, and once this study is done, you will get a rating here. You can rate every candidate and tell us how we performed, and then we as a team will learn, and our system and algorithms will learn to do even a better job next time. So that's it. Handing over to Paul, and he will show quickly one slide about pricing, and then I'm done.
Thank you, Reto.
Yeah.
Just waiting for the share to share the slides. What do you say?
Testing time is offered in 3 ways. Pay as you go. What I showed you before, it just calculates as you enter criteria the price, and then you order. You pay by credit card, invoice. Or you can buy credits, so you don't have to have your company approved budget. You have credits, and we have a private pool version, which is you don't just use our own pool. You can bring your own. Like you have many customers that have very niche users, like hearing impaired people, diabetes, and so on. They need them such a high volume that we can provide sustainably. So they use our system with their panelists. It's a branded version, and then they have sort of a flat fee yearly license to use it. And if you show that slide, Paul.
Yeah, I'm going there. Just wanted to.
Yeah, so here pay as you go, prepaid credits and private pool subscription. And it's super easy, and I can tell you all the great things, but at the end, try it and see it for you. And the first 3 test users for you are for free. Now back to
Thank
Paul.
you. Okay, then I'm a bit excited if we get enough respondents in our survey. When we talk about how often you buy flowers, about this offering a service where you deliver flowers to your own home, a subscription scheme, and which kind of date, and early morning or the afternoon. So I checked a little bit when Reto was doing his speech, and then we had 87. So yes, now we have 100 respondents. We started at 1408 and we ended at 1416 with 100 respondents in UK. So then it is presented like this. How often do you buy flowers, about the services, which date, and then in the morning or in the afternoon. Then you can also, then we do have some filters, what you male and female are answering this one. Or we can do with age or whatever, or we can do on also on the region. You also have the possibility to download the data in CSV or an Excel file. The next step that we will do is that you can start to cross the questions that you have already made. So for instance, what you would like now is to have to see which people that actually I will remove the seldom because I don't need them to check the rest of the data. That will be released after summer. So Norstat Express is an excellent tool to get really quick insights with real respondents across UK. And then our pricing model is is then around £168 for 100 interviews, 420 for 250, and 840 for 500 respondents, up to 5 questions. And as an offer for you guys, the first survey is for free. So you can just sign up and then we will give you the first survey for free. That is Norstat Express and testing time.
Thank you. That was brilliant. So we've got some questions from Mike in the chat box. Do you want me to read it or can you read it, guys, yourself?
Okay. Our consumer panel is owned by us. We can, of course, use partners in other countries that we don't have a panel, but we are using our own panel members with almost 3 million panel members across Europe. Was that okay, Mike? Then, okay. So we can use the tool recruit to central locations. Is there a limit to these places? For example, the UK, could we go beyond London to smaller towns and cities? Reto, I think that's one for you.
Yes, I also see first one owned by Norstat. Yeah, I mean, yes, the whole company and panel are owned by Norstat, but we still have 2 different panels because the whole merge to a universal Norstat panel is in discussion, and at the moment we operate, but we help each other to bring in panelists and to recruit by location. So remote always uses the whole county. You would need to add some screener question to regionally filter, and if you do a in-house study, then in your lab or so, you would anyway enter the address, and then we would only kind of have a radius around that area to look for. And yeah, you kind of control. I think there are in the question library there are regional questions to kind of limit it, but the default is just from the country. And
Are there any more questions?
Yeah. Question for me, I think for both of you, but maybe first for Rito. Like, do you have a recommendation on how long it takes from like filling in the form in test time until you can do your actual user test or focus group?
so I didn't understand the very first part of your
Yeah,
question.
like so how quick can you do the recruitment if you fill in the form? So that seems very like quick and easy to fill that out. Like how far in advance do you have to fill that in to get your like, people
Okay.
on the spot in an online focus group or in an
Yeah. So we kind of pride ourselves to be very fast. I mean, usually I know the traditional approach is 1 to 2 weeks, or usually 2 weeks. We do 3 to 4 days. That's a short. So when you select the date and time in the form, you will have to give, it only allows you to select days, 3 days in the future, or working days in the future. And we have an express option, so theoretically we could do next day, but then you can do that, but then you pay extra. We would also kind of put our system on steroids to to do this. So next day delivery is possible, but typically customers give us 3 to 4 days, that sort of, or up to a week. And then, there are the customers that plan much more ahead, but we usually wouldn't even start that early because the commitments is the highest of people about 3 to 4 days before the actual appointment. So that's what we measured.
That makes sense.
And when we do kind of this old school recruitment, I call it old school, but it's still recruitment to focus groups with our panel members, etc. We usually say 5 to 10 days, ideally 10 days from.
No, I'm losing your sound, Paul. Is that same for you, Lucy?
Get the people to show up.
Now you're on again.
I just lost the sound there.
Yeah, me as well.
Yeah, I missed your last answer. You said 5 to 10 days normally, I think.
5 to 10 days.
Yeah, cool. And also for you, Paul, the Norstat Express, which countries can you do? Sorry if I missed that, but
In all Norstat countries across Europe, that is the
okay.
Nordics, Baltics, and Germany, France, UK, Italy, Austria, and France.
Cool. Thanks.
Any other questions? I know we're running out of time, but does anybody have any final questions? No? Okay.
Oh.
So thank you so much. As I said, we'll circulate that recording to all our members and put it on our website, and stay in touch with us, please.
Thank you for letting us. Yep. Thank you for having us, and we will send some information, and then let's see what will happen in the future. Nice meeting you guys.
Thank you. Have a nice rest of the day, everyone.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.